Hey everyone, Updog here, and today we got some special guests. We got Pathfinder Gaming and Nemesis Gaming, the two gaming boys. How's it going, fellas?
Good, good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for joining us tonight. We are going to talk about which mode is better. Is it going to be Crucible or is it going to be War? And we'll see if they can convince you. Maybe you already have your mind made up, but we'll see if they can convince you otherwise on the opposite game mode. Maybe you like both. I don't know. Well, you ran a chat in, or I'm sorry, we ran a poll in chats, and Crucible did end up winning barely. So we'll see if we can change chat's mind here by the end of it. And as we go along, chat, if you have any questions or anything like that, we can address those. But I'll have the guys mostly talk. I'm going to be the moderator, and we'll kind of go from there. We'll see what happens. So, first of all, if you haven't seen Nemesis, he's on Twitch and YouTube. Nemesis, what do you do? What's your schedule on Twitch?
So primarily Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday mornings, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Eastern. I am the waiting room for Doom to come in. So
Gotcha.
if you are up early, please check me out.
Yep, cool. And then Nemesis or Pathfinder, do you still stream regularly, or just kind of whenever you have time? Or
Do I stream regularly? That's a resounding no.
okay,
Do I make videos regularly? That's also a resounding no. But I am trying.
Yep.
I am trying my best to do that.
Perfect.
Full-time job and kids and all of that is just difficult sometimes.
Yep, I get it. Yep, definitely get it. So, how about let's go? I know Pathfinder actually. Nemesis, how many days played are you at right now for the game?
2071. I shocked myself looking it up today.
2071. All right.
I'm an old timer.
How about you, Pathfinder?
So I'm gonna preface this by saying I have quit on several occasions. I mean, as a content creator, you've known
Yep.
that I've quit once,
Yep.
but before being a content creator, I quit a couple times. So and sometimes for months at a time. So I'm at 1884 days played, but I have definitely been around longer than that.
Okay.
But my days played are 1884.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Oops. Okay. So what about TCP, Nemesis? Where are you at?
101 mil TCP.
Just cracked.
But don't let that fool you. I still self-identify as a guppy.
Yep. And how about you, Pathfinder?
Sure. I am at 87.7 million.
Okay. All right. I'm catching up to you, Pathfinder.
And I self-identify as who cares?
Gotcha. All right. So we got Nemesis is going to be defending the Crucible side, obviously, as you can see, and Pathfinder is going to be defending the War side. What is your rank, Nemesis, in Crucible right now?
So as of today, I am ranked 34 in Cosmic Crucible.
34. Nice. Yeah, I told chat earlier, I thought you were top 20 or something. I can't remember what I said. It was top 50 or top 20, but pretty darn close. How about your Alliance, Pathfinder? Where are you guys at nowadays?
So if we're ranking like by the arbitrary number of trophies,
Yes.
we are ranked 11th.
Ooh. Where would you put yourself? I know you. So Pathfinder does. If you don't know, he does with his Alliance leader, I believe it is, right? Some videos every 2 weeks. They kind of do like a power ranking for War Alliances. Where do you guys put yourselves on that list?
Anywhere between 7 and 10 is where we've been the last several months. Right now we put ourselves at 10 because we've had a few tight losses recently.
Okay. Now, can you explain why? Like, what the deal? You mentioned trophies, right? What's the deal with why does the trophies matter or not matter in your rankings?
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at trophies in general, if you're a diamond alliance, that generally means that you are winning far more often than you are losing. And getting diamond is a very difficult thing to do in this game. A lot of people think it's easy. It is not easy. You will eventually hit top elo if you get close enough to diamond, and only if you're good enough to beat teams in that top elo are you going to be actually going over that mark.
Right.
And so Legion has 6,000 trophies or whatever. We're at 11th, but that, I mean, I would say that's about where we're at. There might be a couple alliances ahead of us that we could definitely beat on any given day. But that's what I mean by the arbitrary number of trophies. Is there are a lot of alliances over 2,000 trophies that I wouldn't consider to necessarily be a great war alliance by any means.
Gotcha. Okay. And luckily, the trophies don't really play a factor in the war season rewards, right?
No, it's only your rank, like actually how you do in that season.
Right. Whereas on the other hand, in Crucible, your trophies do matter in the rankings. Isn't that right, Nemesis?
That is absolutely correct. Yeah, top 200 is where I aim to be, and hopefully stay. Hopefully I get Mephisto and can hang out there a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Than other people want me to.
Yeah. Yep. So already we're seeing a little bit of difference between the two, but so I guess Nemesis, why do you love Crucible so much?
Yeah, so for me, it's the solo responsibility, right? Not having to be reliant on your alliance. Additionally to that, the theory crafting. A lot of people really take a shine to having like a whole bunch of offense available so they can use different pieces in each room. That's fine, and I feel like those players are really good. But me, I really love defense. I am constantly, probably even since CC Season 1, always punching up 20, 30, 40, 50 mil.
Yeah.
Being able to stop those whales and those krakens in one of my rooms that I designed is where I find the most enjoyment in CC.
Right. Were you able to? I know you faced Beta Ray Bill a week or two ago. Was he caught up on any of your defensive rooms?
Yeah, I got 2 stops against the legend himself.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I was actually watching Taco's stream when he was doing it. He was like, well, I'm in DD7, but I'm having a hard time. Let's take a break and dismantle Nemesis's rooms in CC.
Yeah.
So that was fun. But yeah, I got 2 stops.
Nice.
And only ended up losing by 26 points. So I'm hoping to match up with him again soon. But hopefully I'll have Mephisto by then.
Right, and luckily he didn't have Mephisto at the time for you, so.
Absolutely.
So Pathfinder, how about you? What do you love, or why do you love war the most?
So I really like a couple things about war. The first one is you are interacting with your alliance a lot more when you are really competitive in war. And what I mean by that is you are working with 23 other people in order to have a successful war against 24 other people. And when you get to the high end, wars start to become a lot tighter. They start to become a lot more competitive. It starts to be every loss matters. And so being able to work with my alliance, being able to work with the other captains in my alliance to call things, just coordinating all of that. It's like CC on steroids, because in CC you have 6 teams to face and you're by yourself. Right. But in war you have 240 teams to face, and you're doing it with your entire alliance. It's like you're going to battle with your alliance. Yep. Similar to what Nemesis said about defense in Crucible, I really love crafting defenses in war. And in war, I think it's a lot more about trying to figure out how to run your opponent out of certain key counters. And so CC might be the same way, but on a smaller scale. But in war, obviously you're going up against other war alliances that have 24 underworlds and 24 P-Force and whatever. What I like to do is figure out, can I get them to run out and start losing because they don't have the proper counter anymore? That's what I love about war.
Awesome.
I also love punching up on Krakens too, but it's harder to do in war.
Yeah. We had a comment from Wolvis in the chat saying, you don't need 23 other people who hate Joy to play Crucible. So I think Wolvis is pretty much right now for Crucible. We'll see if Pathfinder can convince.
Sounds like Wolvis is just a hater.
Yeah.
Love you, Wolvis.
All right, so I guess Pathfinder. Why should other players concentrate on war?
Honestly, like I'm gonna be real. I don't think other players should necessarily concentrate on war.
Okay.
And I'm gonna be a terrible debater here, but you should do what gives you the most enjoyment in this game.
There you go.
And if being competitive is inherently in your nature, then I think war can definitely be a place for you. I am coming from a place where when Crucible came out, I was like all in. I loved Crucible.
Yep.
I thought this was the best thing ever because I can be competitive with other people. My alliance didn't care about war.
Yep.
So I didn't really have an opportunity to care about war.
Okay.
And I got really competitive into Crucible. I got really into strategizing around that. And a guy, shout out to a legend in my mind who's retired. His name is K Engineer. He talked to me and he said, look, what you're experiencing in CC, you can do at a much grander scale in war if you just try it. And so I dipped my toe in the water and joined his alliance that was really pushing in war. And I just loved it. I loved the extra level of theory crafting, the extra collaborating with your alliance. And it went from me loving Crucible to loving both to just being all in on war.
Nice. Yeah, I knew you used to be, or when Crucible first started, you really liked it. So I was curious what happened there. So appreciate you.
Oh, we could talk. We could get to that.
All right. Well, what about you, Nemesis? Why should players concentrate on Crucible?
Well, I mean, I appreciate Path just bowing down and giving me this one, but Crucible, in my opinion, is by far the most engaging part of the community. I mean, being able to join several Twitch streams like yourself, Updog, Comrade Red, be able to get the first look at the new tunes, NCC, the new room rules. You know, when the season changes, you will see an increase in the number of people in your chat, right? Because everyone's trying to learn the best strategies, either offensively or defensively, and we're all trying to figure it out together while being entertained. And that's what it's all about. It's the engagement piece.
Right. Okay. Awesome. Yeah, definitely. If you aren't really big into Twitch, but you're really like Crucible, there's a ton of content creators out there that are willing to help, myself included, like Nemesis said, Comrade. There's a bunch of us, and we all love Crucible. We all love helping. Even Juicy, he's in the chat right now. He streams his attacks, and he's always in chats willing to help too. So I definitely like that part of it as well.
Yeah, and then one more piece. It's actually for people that are trying to develop their roster, it's the only game mode that has access to the diamond orbs for the rewards. So definitely something to want to strive in and do the best.
Yep.
I love nothing more than getting one diamond orb and getting a one diamond dupe on my Iron Fist World War II every week. It just brings me great joy.
How about that?
I mean, if you want to trade that for my 3 diamond Punisher, we can make a deal after the stream is over.
How about the diamonds we got on Taskmaster for the war rewards? Did everybody enjoy that?
Those were in raid rewards.
Oh, those
actually.
were raid. Okay. Was it Titania? Was she a war one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
And where have those gone?
What's that?
And where have those gone?
Where have those gone? Yeah, they disappeared. Yeah, the diamonds just disappeared out of the war, didn't they? Yeah. So I guess
so keep playing CC.
That kind of brings up our next topic, though, is what 2 things would you change, Nemesis, about Crucible or make different?
Oh, so the easy one is matchmaking.
Okay.
Just like you referenced earlier, Beta Ray Bill, like, why am I matched up with Beta Ray Bill?
Yeah.
So, 50, 60, 70 million punch ups, why is that happening?
Right.
As I understand it, Envoys have worked behind the scenes to try and explain that to Scopely to fix matchmaking because
Yeah.
of a long convoluted answer that there's just not enough people in Masters because of the trophies you need to put it at the end of the
Yeah.
season.
Yep.
So that's an easy grab. I feel like that's a cheat code for me. So I'm gonna pivot and say some other things that I kind of thought of earlier.
Okay.
So War has a practice mode. Why can't CC have a practice mode?
There you go. Yep.
That's one thing I would definitely do or implement as soon as possible, just so you can be more efficient with the attacks that you want to be able to implement when it's time to, when it's go mode, when you're actually in CC.
Mm-hmm.
And another one is a two-part. Engagement is really huge when it comes to Crucible, as I mentioned earlier. We need to have more tournaments. I've been pitching this for like 3-4 seasons.
Yeah.
But an Envoy tournament at like the beginning of the season,
Mm-hmm.
maybe 1 week before the season starts,
Yep.
let the Envoys have a tournament to showcase the new room rules. You guys can do like dual streams on Twitch. We can have commentators to either explain or poorly explain the fights, like Taco or Run 7 or Path in this case, because he does a really good job breaking down the complexities of everyone's kit.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course the CC tournaments. Like we need to have that more often. We only have the 32 one,
Yeah.
but I envision it's kind of like sports, right? We're playing in the regular season, and there needs to be a playoff, and there needs to be a fight.
Yeah.
A World Series, a Super Bowl, whatever it is, your sports of choices, your sports ball of choices.
Mm-hmm.
But then at the last, we need to have some type of rewards that matter, right? We have the Diamond Orbs, then we also have the Diamond Champion Orbs.
Mm-hmm.
Why aren't those used more to reward people and entice them into getting more excited about CC?
Yeah. Okay. Those are all
so a little bit more than 2 there, but yeah, I feel like definitely those things should be implemented ASAP.
Definitely, yeah, I definitely agree. How about you, Pathfinder? What about for War? What would you? A couple things that you would change or make different?
Yeah, well, starting out, since you gave Nemesis more than 2, I'm also gonna take more than 2. And thank you for the compliment, Nemesis. I know I'm pretty great. So as far as War, there is a practice mode, but it's absolute dog water. It's useless in a lot of senses because any of the current buffs that are happening from season to season, you can't test them. You have no idea if something works until you get into a live war. And because things are so tight, you really don't know what works until you try it. And it's very difficult to do that. So I would fix the practice mode for War to actually include the buffs that characters are getting. If I see a team and it's 4 million with buffs, but it's only 2.9 when I fight it, that's not really practical for me to go in and fight it similarly to like the new warriors getting 50% speed. I need to be able to know if the team I am, coming up with can actually work or not. Number 2 would be it needs to balance out more towards defense. We're in a very highly offensive meta right now, where there are matches coming down to 3 losses to 1 loss. We had a war where it was 6-7 and our side had a crash, and that's one of the reasons why we lost that war is because we had a crash. That's a horrible feeling for an alliance to put in all that effort and lose by 1 because there was a crash. But things can be fixed. I think that you could add a room or 2 to defense to make it a little better. You could also just actually have a war defense team that has uses in other game modes. And then, similar to Nemesis, I've pitched this idea as well for War of having some sort of public spotlight on the war scene. Obviously, I have been trying to do that. I've kind of taken a little bit of a step back from doing that for a little bit, but War is exciting if you want to actually jump in and see what's going on. And the competitive part of war, like what I would consider, the top 25 rankings, for instance, people really care about it. Like they're really competitive. They really want to see where they stack up. And when big wars happen, I think the community could be interested to see that. Like, Legion's fighting Onslaught. What's going on there? Like, what's the score? Make it public. Make it obviously don't show the teams that are being used, but just show the score. Like, what's happening?
Yeah.
We could kind of watch it, and similar to like Nemesis said, like we could commentate on it, make it a spectacle.
Cool.
I think the dream would be that MSF could have some sort of esports thing, but war would be difficult to do. It would have to be more of a recap.
Yeah.
But I think that making it more public and kind of putting spotlight on alliances and what they're doing would be really cool. That's what I would change.
A couple of follow-up questions for you, Pat. How long would a war like that, like Legion versus Onslaught, how long would that usually take? Like 4 hours, 2 hours to
Oh no.
start to finish, or?
You're probably, on an average war, 10 to 12 hours.
10 to 12 hours. Okay.
For like highly competitive. If you're in a super tight war, it could go all the way down, like waiting for people to come in and attack.
Okay.
If you manage to get 24 people to sit down and together go room by room, you could probably get it done in a matter of a couple hours.
Yeah.
As long as you kind of know what you want your strategy to be and that everybody's aligned,
Yeah.
you could definitely get it done quickly.
Yeah.
But it's just the nature of the game mode. It's a global game, so you have 24 hours. Sometimes it could take 24 hours.
If we had that live spotlight, though, recapping or showing the score, would you rather see everybody on all at the same time? Do you think that would be better, or do you think just play it out how it is, and like they have those?
I would just play it out how it is and let people see it. Like,
Okay.
just like, hey, these alliances are facing, like, maybe it's the top 100 alliances, or maybe it's the top 50 alliances, like their wars. You can just see what's going on. You could do the same thing with Crucible. Like, take the top 200 participants and like just showcase it, like who's fighting who, and like just seeing it to get an idea. You don't have to show what people are using. You don't have to show people's strategies, but I think just spotlighting alliances and players, like that would make you feel really good as a player. Like, man, they really care that I care.
Yeah, true. I was just thinking, because I don't know, maybe I'm misremembering things, but didn't war, like, let's say a couple years ago, weren't they usually over pretty quick?
I mean, in the world of like having to finish first, you had to wait for the first or second energy drop.
Okay.
And so wars were all about like finishing first.
Yeah.
But you had to do it after, like, I think it was like 8 hours or something.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that was before. Right now, or now we're getting all of our energy up front. For those of you who don't know, we used to get like 4 or 5 attacks right up front, and then we got
I think we got 6. Six, and you could buy some, and then you got free.
Yeah,
or something along those lines.
Some every like 4 hours or whatever, something like that. So, okay, and then the other.
Yeah. I'm gonna add one extra one.
Okay.
So I'm very sorry. I'm taking 4 here. Get rid of MVP. That is the most useless. That is the most useless part of war. Just get rid of it. No one cares.
Yeah.
No one cares about MVP. Just get rid of it.
So you don't have anybody in your alliance that just really loves to get MVP?
I do, which is why I want to get rid of it.
Oh, okay. Because they're chasing the MVP and not necessarily doing.
Because nobody needs to be a hero. Okay. Nobody needs to be a hero in a game mode that's 24 versus 24.
Yeah, true. Okay. The other thing I wanted to follow up on was, you said like I don't like calling it seasonal buffs. I think they should call it like spotlight buffs. Now that we have the spotlight as a hot button word, but like the buffs to new warriors and cosmic heroes and stuff that we have right now. But I'm assuming you would still like to see also like the adjacent rooms and the global room buffs added as well, because we're not getting that right now, right?
I would like to be able to test against anything.
Okay.
Like I would like to be able to see what I could do.
Okay.
And I heard if you say spotlight, the game's collapsing.
Yeah, I haven't seen chat catch on fire yet for that, but we'll see. Now, the flip side, Nemesis, to that question about the practice mode, would you, if we got a practice mode and it was just like what we have in War Practice right now, where we don't have the room rules or any of the stat buffs, would you still call that a win?
It would be pointless. It would be a waste of time, and I would wonder what Scopely was doing. Just why? You could have been fixing something else.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Because I could see that happening. Like, they would say, hey, we're going to give you a Crucible practice mode, but it's just going to be like War practice mode, and you won't have the buff. So, just curious what your thoughts would be on that. So, all right. So, last thing to wrap things up here. Nemesis, how would you convince a hardcore fan of War to make the switch over to Crucible?
I mean, assuming that Scopely like follows through and fixes matchmaking, because that's usually the derailment for people having fun in CC. I mean, me and aforementioned Gulag Gang, because we are in Comrade Red stream Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday doing Community Crucible. We often are helping people out, and that's part of the engagement piece that I was referring to in CC, being able to help walk people through CC, lay out an attack plan for them, and help them learn and understand, hey, this is why we're using this, the reason why behind it. And just for instance, for an example, we had one guy named Itachi who had just unlocked Cosmic Crucible and was matched against someone that was like maybe 5 million above him. Mind you, this is a 3 mil player versus an 8 mil player, and just unlocked Crucible. So he had no idea really what he was doing, and was already overmatched. We managed to be able to scrape by and get him to win, just because, again, that community Crucible piece, that engagement, and him being aware that these things existing, similar to your stream up dog. And I think that is the huge winning point that Crucible has over War. And I mean, me, as a fan of Pathfinder, the person I'm debating against, he used to have these awesome streams on Thursday where chat would pick his team. And I don't see those anymore, and we miss those, as well as the Peaches intro. When is Peaches coming back?
Well, if he doesn't care as much about Crucible, he should just
maybe
keep on doing that.
Maybe I can make that happen. Maybe we can make that happen.
All right, Path, what about you? How would you convince a hardcore fan of Crucible to start doing War instead, focusing more on War?
I'm gonna say how I feel, and then I'll say what I should say if I were in a debate. You should play whatever game mode makes you the most happy at the end of the day, because this game is a game, and if you don't like the modes that you're playing, if you don't like what you're doing, you should go do something else. Like, you should try something different. So if you are a hardcore fan of Crucible, I am telling you that if you take it from 6 to 240, there is a lot of theory crafting and strategy that goes into it if you really want to put the time and effort to do so.
Gotcha.
I am sorry, but I feel that Crucible is extremely boring because it's the same 6 teams that I face every single week. I'm not throwing shade at anybody, but if somebody puts out a what rooms are best, that is literally what everybody does, and it's so boring to me that it happens that way. People probably think the same thing about War, but I'm telling you that I see variations every single War. Like, new teams, new variations happen when you have 10 rooms and 24 members of your alliance. There's a lot of different stuff you can do versus having the same 6 teams that you're fighting week in and week out. I think that there's a lot of room for theory crafting in this game, and War has a lot of it if you actually, take the time and do it.
Okay. So, I guess a follow-up to that is, with the theory crafting part of it, would you say that there's less variation the lower you go down into war? Do you think there's more variation at the top versus, like, let's say a Plat 3 alliance?
I would say that the lower you get, probably the more basic it becomes.
Okay.
And the higher you get, the more variation and the more the differences between teams. And I mean, it could be like you set one variation of a team in one room and another variation in a different room in the same war.
Yeah.
It's nobody has the same 24 like the same set 24 times where I'm at. That is not a thing. And so I do think that I see the point that, you know, the interaction is low when it comes from a content creator side, because war is 24 hours.
Right.
Crucible you could do in 45 minutes on a stream.
Right.
And it's much more interactable. But it's the alliance piece that you interact a lot more with your alliance. And there are plenty of people out there that are interested in talking about war. You just have to find them.
Yep, true. That is true. I found that out joining your what is it? What's the Discord you guys made?
The Civil War.
Yes. I'll make sure I get the link to that Discord in the description here. So mods, if you wouldn't mind putting up a poll, we're gonna see if we had any minds changed here. We'll do a couple minute poll. I'm gonna take some questions from chat here. Let's see. Juicy says the higher you go up in elo in both modes, the greater the variation. Would you guys agree with that? Well, let's see. Looks like the poll is over and Crucible still won. I think they actually got one more vote than before. So better luck next time, Path. But I do appreciate you guys hanging out with me and doing this video. Hope you guys found that helpful. You guys have any last words of wisdom?
I'm a horrible debater because I really believe that at the end of the day, you should do what makes you the happiest and do what gives you the most joy.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's not war, then that's fine with me.
Okay. Nemesis?
I appreciate Pat taking it easy on me, and I appreciate you, Updog, for having me here.
Yeah,
Crucible is the best, and thank you for everyone that went and watched my Mephisto video. It was definitely full pucker mode for me. If you hadn't seen it already, definitely check it out.
I will link both of these guys, all their socials and everything. If you are following me, you probably know Pathfinder, but Nemesis is a little bit newer on the scene, so definitely go give him a sub and click all the buttons for him. But that's all I got for this one, guys. Thanks again, and we will catch you all next time.